Hello and welcome to New Earth Lifestyles. I'm Janie King, host of the show, hostess. Thank you for joining us today in Manchester, downtown Manchester, New Hampshire, January 23, 2014, 15, I'm sorry. 22nd. Oh, it's 22nd, okay. I shouldn't even do that, but anyway. Thanks for joining us, New Earth Lifestyles. We're here to give you a new opportunity, a new way of looking at life from a perspective that perhaps you haven't noticed before, new ways of looking at health and happiness and joy and ways of living. And I have my trusty 7 metals singing bowl here, which is our mindfulness bell in 2015. So when we hear the bell of mindfulness, it reminds us to breathe and relax and come back to this moment, So thank you for manchestertv.org, Manchester TV Public Television, for this beautiful studio. Thank you to John Eric O'Neill, our technical director today, for setting up all the stuff. So today I have a wonderful guest here to talk about holodynamics, and his name is Ted VerPlanck. Welcome, Ted. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Great. And Ted has a studio called Winds of Change Reiki Studio, and that is somewhere up in the White Mountains, is it?
Tamworth, New Hampshire.
Tamworth.
Yeah.
A lovely, lovely spot. So welcome, Ted. Holodynamics.
Yes.
That's a very interesting subject. And, yeah, so what can you tell us about holodynamics right up front?
Okay. Well, holodynamics, it just jumped out at me late last year.
I see.
I'd say by June I learned about holodynamics, and it just was the first. And I have been involved with Reiki since 1998. I've been a Reiki master. I've done quantum touch. I've done energy medicine with Donna Eden. So I've done a lot of modalities of alternate healing. And when I saw this, it was the first one that really is scientifically proven. I mean, it's
wow.
The founder, Dr. Vernon Wolf, he researched this starting with his physics degree. He got an education degree, went into religious education, and finally had a PhD in psychology. And he sort of followed this path and tried to understand human consciousness. And he's done it totally scientifically. And so this is the first modality that I've seen that can resonate to a lot of people. I think some of these alternate modalities you might get 5-10% of the population that could identify with it, but here's one that everyone can identify with, because it's all based on solid science.
Solid physics. Is it physics and psychology?
It's based on holographics, and I think a lot of us were introduced to holographics with Star Wars and Princess Leia turning on the CP30, that little image that was projected. That may have been our first introduction for a lot of us.
The image of who she was speaking with.
Yeah.
And he wasn't physically there. That's right. But she projected this person that she could speak with through the robot.
That's right.
And what do they call that?
That's a holographic image.
That's a holographic image. Wow, that's a great way to look at it.
So,
explain it.
That's holodynamics is about using holographs. Okay. And holographic image. If you take a little piece of that you cut a little piece off that, the entire image is still there. So it may be a little faint if you've just cut off a little corner of it, but the entire image of it is projected on the piece. And so with holographs, if you change the whole, you change a part, and if you change a part, you transform the whole. And that's what we're doing with holodynamics, is we're changing a little tiny part and the whole thing just is transformed.
Wow.
So holographs is just a piece of it. And then we're dealing with quantum physics.
Wow. And tell me a little about quantum physics for us.
It's
your understanding, how you look at it.
Well, as far as how this this flows with it, it's we're dealing with you move a particle here, and one on the other side of the world can be moved. I mean, it's
okay, that's a great way to look at it.
There is no time lag. It's just
no time lag.
It happens automatic. I mean, that's why we can do long distance healing. We can work this modality.
So long distance healing is something that people might want to hear about. What, from your perspective, is long distance healing?
Being able to work with somebody. I was just working with a client over in India, and it's just a matter of understanding the time zones. I was working at 9:30 at night, and this woman was available at 8 o'clock the morning the next day.
I see.
So it's different dynamics that way, but with Skype, it's not a challenge at all. Just to have the conversation, to be able to work with the holodynamics.
So you were speaking with her on Skype, and she was in India. You were here in Tamworth, New Hampshire, and what transpired, if you don't mind explaining a little more? Yeah,
well, in this situation, she has osteoarthritis, and some deformity had set in, and so it was impacting her lifestyle and all. So we did what we call a tracking situation, and basically we both get into our full potential selves, and
your full potential self.
Yeah.
You'll have to tell me a little about what is your full potential self, if you don't mind breaking up, just putting that on hold and going there for a minute.
Yeah. Well, it's that perfect you.
The perfect you.
Yeah. So it's not. There's. If you look at yourself without any blemish, sort of if you could do anything, have access to any information, all information. That is the full potential self.
I see.
So we go to that full potential self to make to make one identify what the core issue is. Okay. So we had to explore, and in this process, we did explore where it first came into her life. The issue came into her life, and we also went back to prior lifetimes where this was also a situation, and we were able to see that in the place of planning, which is where you come into this life.
Sort of like in the ether somewhere when you're not physical, you mean?
That's part of the this is part of the quantum physics that it's hard. It's going to be hard for a lot of people to understand. We're moving into different dimensions. And it's scientifically proven there are at least 10 dimensions out there.
Scientifically proven. Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
So I mean, we're and we're dealing with a number of them when we do a holodynamic session.
Okay.
So we were accessing information from parallel lives to past lives, and able to heal prior events and bring it forward. So it's
pretty technical.
It's pretty amazing stuff.
Amazing, and you looks like you're very satisfied doing this work.
It's very fulfilling. Yeah. So it not only touches about quantum physics, it gets into and I don't understand necessarily all the dynamics behind it, but developmental psychology.
Oh, okay.
And also the string theory. I mean, this is information theory. It gets when you get into the scientific. I mean, there's
you need to know some physics to understand that. I know the string theory. Just when I hear that word.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gone.
just your mind just shuts down,
Right.
and eyes roll back in the back of your head.
Right.
But fortunately, it's all this is, as I say, scientific based. So I mean,
Right.
you can follow if you have a lineal mind and you want to figure things out. You can.
You can.
You can.
Right. So, and it is all based in current science, which is so important.
That's
for,
right.
For so many
That's
of us
right.
to know that this is current science, string theory, and quantum physics and holodynamics, or the hologram.
That's right.
And
So the holodynamics actually comes from the word hollow, which is whole, and dynamic meaning energy, force, and motion.
energy, force, and motion. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's
The whole energy, force, and motion.
It's effective energy, force, and motion. So it's that's where the name comes from.
Uh-huh.
And the founder, as I mentioned earlier, Dr. Wolf, he through the process of his education, he was able to discover how the human consciousness really worked.
Mm.
And
I wonder what triggered him to kind of meander through from physics over to psychology and becoming a PhD in psychology. Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just fascinating to me how the mind works to then bloom this whole new modality of very effective healing.
He's one of these geniuses that
A genius mind.
A genius mind is basically where it all stems from for him.
Kind of like
But,
Einstein.
and he would test his stuff out. I mean, he just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would. He was in Utah, for example. He tested it out on the state mental institution in Utah.
Oh, he did.
And over a period of a few years, working with all the families, and the families working with their loved one.
It was in the mental institution.
Mental institution.
Okay.
And in just a few years' time, 80% of the population
Wow.
was healed. So
Wow, let's have a little mindfulness
Yeah.
spell on that.
Yeah.
80% of people institutionalized were released
for
then?
mental illness,
For
were
mental
released,
illness
yeah.
were released through this
And-
holodynamic program.
And he was told to stop the program because it was they get paid for bed nights. And,
Because they were
so-
losing the bed nights.
So they weren't
getting paid.
So from an economic standpoint, it was not helpful for them to have people.
Well, isn't that
yeah.
crazy to have to do it that to
Yeah.
to be
Well-
based on that kind of a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Economics has no value when it comes to human life and quality of life.
Well, I think sometimes we have to look at what our medical field is based on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's based on the almighty dollar.
Almighty dollar, and sometimes what the pharmaceutical industry colors.
Right. If they're
Yeah.
not making any money, they need to change things. So,
So from there, he tested other areas. Okay.
Okay.
Worked there. He tested it in prisons.
Okay.
Hardened criminals. Just transformed the prison population.
wow.
He talks of one incident where one of his clients had been through holodynamics training, and her daughter married this serial killer, and who
Wow.
was still serving time in this prison. So
Okay.
Vernon Wolf, he says, "Okay, let's go in and to the prison and work with them," and he did, and they're a happily married couple now with children. And
Really? So he was
and,
able to
I
be
mean,
released?
This was definitely, he was released, and this was definitely,
Wow.
there was no question, this was not a violent person. I mean,
Uh-huh.
in the prison cell, their first time, he was there with the daughter, and he just asked a flip question. So, how do you kill somebody? And he proceeded to show her. show him with their hands around his girlfriend's neck, and it's like he immediately put a hand on him and started working the system. And
wow, that must have been a little tense.
It sounded tense to me.
Intense.
That's very intense. But so that was just another proving ground for him there.
And so what actually did he do? I mean, and what do you do? If you can tell us what the process is, so people can understand how it works.
Okay. First, you identify what the problem is. Okay.
So this person in India had arthritis.
Yeah. So we've identified it's arthritis, and we go to her full potential self, and we see.
So can you tell me how you go to your full potential? Her full potential. How do you go to someone's full potential self?
You get in a sort of a semi-trance. It doesn't have to be a full. This isn't hypnotherapy or anything else like that. You just.
So what do you do? How do you do that?
You just go to a place of peace in your mind.
Okay, and, so you as a practitioner take yourself to a place of peace.
I'm in my place of peace, working with my full potential, and the client is in their place of peace, working with their full potential.
I see. So you both kind of get in that space within you.
And then we ask for our guides to come to be with us on the journey, whoever our guides might be. This has nothing to do with religion, race, anything.
Okay. So your spirit guides, spiritual helpers.
Yeah, they would be there if you have any. Okay. Otherwise, you're there with your full potential self.
Okay.
And who better could you be with?
Right. And so with your full potential self, does that correlate to source energy? Source?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
so you could look at it that way.
Well, yeah. We all have are connected to source. I mean, there's and I don't know if we'll get into that right here, but we work with our full potential, and and we in this case it was where are your guides taking you? Okay, and then so her guides will take me.
She's sort of in this trance state in her full potential self, and you ask where are your guides, and her guides are with her.
Yeah.
So you ask where are your guides taking you, and she goes on a journey in her mind.
Yeah, and then why are your guides showing you this? Okay, she'll see a scene, and why are your guides showing you this? And then sometimes we just have to ask a little deeper questions because we're trying to figure out what's going on, what's the real deal.
Right.
Okay, and then after a bit, we'd probably say, once we figured out what that scene was all about, why we needed to see that, we'd ask the guides to show us another scene, and we'd examine that in the same detail.
I see.
And at some point, we're going to have a snapshot of why she's dealing with the situation that she's.
Why she has osteoarthritis.
Yeah.
And did you get to that place with her?
Yes. Yeah. And oftentimes it always stems away from our intrinsic nature of trying to get to a certain point in a less developed way. And what I want to say is that in an immature way, for example, it's always the end result is usually something like love and appreciation is what we really want.
Okay.
But for example, when I'm working with someone with extreme anger, what they really want is love and appreciation. How they get it is from maybe a 3-year-old mind when there was a rage scene going on, and that sort of acted out now. So that's
sort of frozen in them to continue doing that?
It's frozen in at them, so they're acting out their 3-year-old every time this anger comes up. And
because they're not getting the love they want.
So it's actually what it really boils down to is love and appreciation.
Wow.
Or there's some positive piece that these will boil down to.
That people want love and appreciation.
Yeah.
We've talked about that a lot on this show, and that feels really interesting and correct, or that's what we yearn for, and that's what makes us act out when we don't get that, which we all deserve.
That's right.
Sounds very interesting.
So,
and so, what was if you don't mind asking about this particular client? She got what was her love and appreciation piece that she needed to get to, or that she didn't, that she was stuck not having, or something?
The specific issue we were dealing with was, I mean, that's sort of escaping me right now, but I mean,
okay,
it was...
and that's probably confidential anyway, but I guess we just sort of...
But know that we took it back to the contract. I mean, we went back, and it was a prior lifetime. She was doing this over and over again, and so we went back and to the place of planning. And
so the initial place of planning were herself.
There she is with herself, her parents, siblings, and any other people that were there at the time when she made the decision to have this life, with living in a limited way with this.
I see.
With this arthritis.
I see.
So, and once we understand what the issue is, I mean, what the contract was, then we can ask if those present are willing to have it rewritten. And
those present meaning the people that were involved at the time.
Yeah, at the time, and we had to go ahead, and so there's a new contract now.
A new contract.
Yeah.
Yahoo!
So,
Woo!
yeah. So,
a new contract can be written for whatever you're stuck in.
Yeah. so those are some exciting things that can happen with this, and I mean, some other areas that Vernon Wolf worked with. I mean, in L.A., he worked with the youth. There's some gang members, youth gang members that were basically dropped out of school. I mean, 80% of them he was able to get back, complete their education.
Wow.
So
fabulous.
Yeah.
And so they're willing to talk with him, because this feels like it's a talking thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he
pretty courageous guy to step into the gangs of L.A. to just talk with them.
He is.
Get him into school.
He doesn't
or to
let
get
anything stop him.
Wow.
He's
pretty cool. And he's now in Sedona teaching this method?
Yeah, it's about 17 miles from Sedona,
I see.
Arizona there, yeah. And,
Sedona, Arizona, what a great place. And you actually went there.
And I went there for training. It's a 7-day training that I went through, and then I come back, and I need to work with a number of people afterwards and document all the healings that have taken place, and and they have to review it. And,
I see.
And before I get certified as a Holodynamics consultant.
Wow!
So
and you now are
Yeah.
Certified Holodynamics Consultant.
So there
Congratulations.
we go. Thank you.
That's great.
So early on, he tested it in other places as well. This was back in '98. He started getting some people from Russia coming into his course. And,
I see. So did they come to the U.S.?
They came to the U.S. for the course.
Okay.
And so suddenly his interest was Russia, and for some reason the universe was bringing this to his doorstep. And Cold War wasn't over, but he was asked with Barbara Hubbard to go on a peace initiative.
Oh, so Barbara Marx Hubbard was involved at that time. Okay.
So off they went, and he was there like 4 or 5 years working with them
in Russia.
And I worked with the military. I mean, this is making some major changes in how they think about things. And,
wow.
So it was instrumental in changing the Iron Curtain coming down. So it was a major piece.
A major player
in that. And I wouldn't do it justice to tell his story here, you can read that in his
So
books.
Is that in this book, The Dance of Life? I can't remember.
Dance of Life. I don't know if the whole story's in the Dance of Life, but it's some of his books. It will.
Oh, here's the list of his books.
Yeah.
The Wellness Manifesto, the Therapy Manifesto, and his manuals. No, I don't see the other one that Don had lent me here. But
yeah. So he's done it in Russia. I mean, he's in the Academy of Science over there. He's honorary degreed over there. I mean, he's very highly respected for what he's done.
Great.
From there, he went to Israel.
Okay.
And with Barbara Max Hubbard again on a peace initiative, and got lost on the bus, on a tour bus there. So he found himself in with some terrorists and
Really?
started to work with them, and it immediately changed their perception on things. And so they have the work that he's done with terrorists has created sort of a peace initiative, a River of Life, I think it was called.
Okay.
And
he's got a lot of guts.
He
gumption.
He's amazing. He's amazing. So there's nothing that he hasn't tried this with. So
Right.
this is pretty effective. System that he has.
Great.
So, I mean, other things. Let's see. We talked about.
Well, we were going to show this picture of the time
Okay. Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Tell me about the shape of time. If
Oh.
John is out there that can bring us the close-up.
Sure.
The
Stephen Hawking is a famous scientist.
you want to hold that up for
yeah.
him?
Right there? Yeah. I don't. We can see that there's a train riding around this this shape here. Almost looks like a pretzel. And if that train were to ride around, it's gonna. It looks like it's would come around, fall off, but it's. That's what this is a representative of time, and it's a good example of.
So it's kind of saying that time is not linear.
Time is not linear.
Time goes in this pretzel shape, or whatever. This was actually.
Yeah, we have access to the past, the present, and the future.
Right.
Because time is. Time is all happening at the same time. So again, this is thing that will boggle most of folks' minds.
Right,
but,
right. I've talked about that before.
And some people aren't ready to hear this. But what they may be ready to hear is the phenomenal results that come out.
Right.
And,
so what are some of the results that come out? I mean, what are the results that you have?
I would say one of the toughest ones is working with somebody with addictions. Okay.
Addictions, like an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Or
drug addict.
Oh, a
for
drug
example.
addict.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically, there's a lot of scenarios that go on here.
So
okay.
you've worked with drug addicts.
Yeah, and not only are you dealing with the drug addict, but all the people. I mean, the people that they're encountering. I mean,
Sure.
the mother and dad. They impact that. I mean, there's dynamics that have to be shifted all over the place.
Okay.
Okay. So we're looking at the drug addict, and the addiction is just a little piece of it. Okay.
I see.
I mean, we've got victim consciousness, we've got codependency, we've got all the issues that supported that drug issue. Okay. Okay. Theft, petty theft, larceny. Lying,
dishonesty,
all the dishonest issues,
lack of self-worth.
Oh yeah, no.
Self-esteem is not there, obviously.
No self-esteem. It's like
a lot of the psychological issues.
Also, there's just a lot of things that I need to track individually with them.
Okay.
In order to move ground.
So again, what tracking means that you're taking it back in time to the initial place. Is that what tracking?
That's right. Yeah.
That's what tracking is. So you might just take one of those items that you just mentioned, like lying.
Yeah.
And track it back to the first time.
First time it happened in their lifetime, and does this go back further?
Further, to further pass further.
Sometimes we carry, genetically, we carry into stuff into our lives. So we need to see, okay, are there genetic predispositions on this?
How can how could, that's one of the questions that comes up, is how, if we're not physical before we're here, how does it genetically get transferred from a past life to our genetics in this life? Is that something you can address?
Well, we are holographic. We are, each of us is holographic. We are a hologram.
And so that never dies, is what you're saying. The hologram.
That all that history is right available to us, and that's why.
Hologram.
Yeah, that's when I mean, if you've ever run across people that have psychic abilities, what they're doing is accessing the holograph. I mean, they don't know you from Adam, yet they're able to pull detailed information from you. How are they getting that detailed information? They're grasping a little tiny particle in your hologram where all that information is stored.
Where all of you is.
Where all of you is. So, I mean, and so that information's all there.
So we're a walking book.
We're a walking book.
Our whole, everything is laid out. We just need someone to plug in, know how to plug in, which is what you do.
That's
what
right.
Psychics do when they're reading us, if they're good, they're plugging into that hologram, to that vibration of all that we are, ever have been, ever will be.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
So in this case with the addict, now I'm working with their, say, mom and dad, and okay, they've got victim conscious issues. They got codependency issues. Or we're going to perpetuate this whole thing. We're going to get anger issues. There's just a number of dynamics that have to be considered when we're dealing with something as complex as that. It's sometimes I think the arthritis situation is a lot easier to work with,
because it's just one
line.
Yeah,
when we need to deal with family systems, it gets a little bit more complicated, but it's very doable. It's not it's nice to be able to make that addiction just disappear. I mean, you don't need years. This doesn't take years.
Oh, it doesn't. So how would you have everyone in a room, or would you individually work with each part of the
individually
picture?
Work with them.
With the family, like all the players that are playing into this person's addiction.
Yeah.
Are part of his or her lifestyle or life.
Yeah.
I see. So you'd first probably work with the victim and then find out who's involved or what their relationships
what
are.
the dynamics are. Yeah, it's helpful to have a history or who they're dealing with. If they're still dealing with drug dealers, we need to we need to get a pulse on who their support system is. And,
wow, that's something they would give up?
I can do that sort of long distance, working with the drug, say a drug dealer's full potential self. I can. I mean, it's possible to work with.
Even though they're not tuned into you.
Even though they're not tuned in. I mean, they have a holographic image. It's out there.
Right. So you must have to get permission somehow from their higher self.
From their higher self, is that?
And so the higher self is their source energy, so to speak, or their hologram, or the part of them that's not physical.
That's
not
right.
Totally physical.
Yeah. So yes, we do. I definitely need to get permission, but I don't need to get a physical permission from them, because it will most certainly never happen.
Right.
But as long as their higher self is on board with it, we can make some shifts.
Great. And so have you had some success then with drug addicts? Yeah,
I've had success on that.
And what kind of drug addict person did you work with that was successful? What kind of drugs were they hooked on?
I don't get into the detail.
Oh, you don't?
Interesting.
So it doesn't matter to you?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter. It's not, I mean, the drug that she was on required her to take a medication for the side effects of what do you want to call that? The
side effects of the high?
Of stopping
the addiction.
The addiction,
the desire for it.
Yeah, so there is she's willingly, I mean, to somebody that was that was her whole focus in life, was the next set of drugs to get into, start working with a counselor to be able, so that she could get this
the antidote kind of
antidote type of thing.
Yeah. Wow.
So this was helpful.
Great. Well, let's have a little mindfulness bell to being able to be successful with drug addicts and drug addiction. That's fantastic. I mean, there should be more people like you out there helping these people get off the medication, off the drugs, rather, off the illegal, the stuff that it ruins lives.
Oh, sure it does. Yeah, there's lots of issues out there that, I mean, if the doctor says, hey, there's no cure, we don't know what it is, well, this is the place to start.
Because you have cure. Because that's totally wrong. There's a cure for everything.
That's right.
That's one of my beliefs that I've always. There's just a method that hasn't been explored yet.
Yeah.
But there's really a cure for pretty much for everything that's out there, because we've created it, right? I've created whatever's going on in my life.
That's
and
right.
So you just need to get into that.
That's a hard thing for a lot of people, hard concept for people to understand. That they created their own reality, and
right.
But the essence is, when you look at it, you did.
Right.
And you've got what we call a holodyne. Okay, one little particle in your being that says, okay, this is the way we do things. Okay.
A holodyne, is that in every cell?
It's sort of like a command center. It's a very when we got to get into the string theory before we need to explain this, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
But it's a cell that would cause you to go down this path, and sometimes we have what we call event horizons that cause us to go down certain paths.
What is an event horizon?
If you're part of a culture, you're going to be tied into cultural things.
Okay.
So, as an American, we're tied into. Okay.
Okay. So here's one. Children should be seen and not heard. That was one I grew up with.
Yeah. Okay. There's a cultural dynamic right there.
Right. Children should be seen and not heard. And so my father was very strict, especially at the dinner table, that we were not to be heard.
Yeah.
We were to eat our dinner, be quiet.
That's an event horizon right there.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And so an event horizon, so then from there I've got stuff within me around not being heard, or that whole children should be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
That is perhaps an underlying root of my shyness or my introvert tendencies.
Yeah.
So I've been an introvert all my life until the show showed up. No, not really, but a few years before the show showed up. So I'm always curious about the thread that goes back to why I was so afraid of people all my life, and still am. I mean, I still am in a lot of ways. I still will have those tendencies that come up.
Yeah, and so we go back and we change. So your event horizon keeps you in a little circle like this, okay, or this sphere like that.
Okay.
Now we're going to push the walls back so that we have a bigger event horizon for you. So, sometimes event horizons have a gatekeeper that's been there for years and years and years.
A gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Someone keeping the gate closed.
Keeping the gate closed so you can't get through. So we talk to the gatekeeper.
Okay.
And this is going to again sound way out there, but if you're dealing in certain situations, for an addiction piece, for example, they went down this path many generations ago, and that's been there for all those generations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in order to get around that, we need to move that block. We're trying to get rid of blocks.
So the gatekeeper's a block. He's in the way.
Basically, we're looking at block. What's blocking you? And I think of from AA, you go down the same path and you fall through the manhole cover.
Yeah.
What causes you to go through that manhole cover time after time after time? It's that same block. And
it won't let you change paths.
Yeah, so we need to have you change the street that you've been walking down.
Okay.
And let's allow you a totally different outcome.
Right. And so what would be my gatekeeper that's keeping me thinking that, or holding on to whatever it is that children should be seen and not heard? Keeps my worthiness down or my self-esteem low.
How
would you go about finding that gatekeeper?
Well, we'd see, okay, you'd be in your place of peace. We're going to go down and look at that.
So can I do that now? Something we can do now or not?
Okay. Well, I mean, being seen and not heard. Is there any?
Well, actually, I don't even want to be seen.
Is there any place in your body that would resonate with you? Is there any place in your body?
My chest.
In
my
your
heart.
chest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what does it look like? Does it have a color?
It feels very dark, black.
Okay. Does it have a shape?
Flat wall.
Okay. And that black, you said flat wall?
Yeah, it feels like a wall.
That black shape with a wall on it. Send it love and appreciation because it's been there with you a long time.
Oh, okay.
And we need to chat with it. And does it have a message for you? Or why it's there? Or what's its purpose?
To protect me.
Okay. And what would happen to you if you didn't get that protection?
I might die.
Okay. And what would happen if you died?
I wouldn't be here anymore.
And if you were not here anymore, what would happen?
It's just as the shaking happens.
And when that shaking happens, what?
I feel like I'm disintegrating. I feel like I'm blowing apart.
And when you've blown apart, what's really going on?
I'm just not here. I'm empty. I'm empty.
And that emptiness, what's that emptiness?
I've got no value.
Okay. So you have no value.
Mm.
Anything else that comes out to you? With no value, having no value, what does that do to you?
Makes me worthless.
And being worthless, what is that?
What's the point? There's no point in being here.
Okay. And if there's no point in being here, what does that do for you?
There's no reason. That's no point. What's the point? There's no point in going any further if there's no point.
There's no point, okay. Trying to, you need to be in your full potential self, not your lineal mind.
Okay.
Okay. Let's look at that, if we could look at it
So I was
again.
not in my full potential self. So I'm finding a place of peace. I'm finding that wall is kind of halfway now. It's not like it was like everywhere here. Now it's like here, going
Okay.
down.
That's a good thing.
Mm.
And what's that wall really there for? Full potential self.
It's there to keep my love safe, my heart safe.
Okay. See, we shifted from the lineal mind to your mind being in your full potential self, and we're able to get to that love.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
it was the love. So
Mm.
so now, if there's a more efficient way of getting that love, would that black wall be interested?
Yes.
Okay. And and what would that new piece look like?
A new way of getting love.
What would I would call it a holodyne. What would this new image be that would help you define that in your mind? What would it look like?
New way of getting love.
What would that lack of love look like?
What would the lack of love look like?
I mean, that wall. We're looking at that black wall.
Okay.
Get back to your full potential self. What would that?
Yeah, I do. I go right back into linear, don't I?
Yeah, you go right back into linear.
thinking.
Yeah, we got to get out of your mind. Get out of your mind.
Out of the mind. Okay. Into my full potential self. I would just be free. I would be full of everything that I could ever desire.
What would it look like?
What would it look like? Expanded and full of light.
Does it have a shape, color?
It would be like the sun. It would feel like the sun.
Okay.
And this, whatever it was, is just gone. I'm feeling like a big golden white light in front of me.
So what you've done automatically is what we would try to do is we take that black wall and we ask if it's ready to transform itself into the new image, and your new image is the sun. And so it's actually automatically, it's already happened.
Okay.
It's already taken place for you. You've shifted that reality so that now you've got a new piece working with you.
Okay, great.
So
I felt like I've softened. I don't know if you could feel it in my voice probably. I just kind of felt like I melted.
yeah. Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
there was a shift. There was a shift.
Wow, thank you.
But
I belong to that shift.
But then we go back to our full potential self, and we just ask that new that sun. Just give it thanks and appreciation for being there,
Thank you.
and just ask if it will work with you at your full potential and become one with you.
Ooh, it feels like it just sort of melted into my chest.
Yeah.
So it's sort of saying, yes, it will
Okay.
work with me.
Will it work with? Will it partnership with your physical well-being?
Yes, it will partnership with my physical well-being.
Okay. Will it ask it if it will partnership with your personal well-being?
Yes, it will. It feels, just flowing all over me.
Ask it now if it will partnership with your interpersonal well-being.
Oh, yes. That's really where it needs help. Where it needs to be, where it wants to be, the interpersonal.
You
really
get a total yes on that?
Yes, I got a total melting even deeper with people that I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ask it if it will partnership with you on your social well-being.
It feels like it says it's already there.
Okay. Ask it if it will partnership with your principled well-being, fair, care, share type of.
I don't understand that.
Principled is ethics.
Okay.
Your ethics, was it? Well, I mean, caring, sharing. Will it partnership with your principled well-being?
Yes. Oh, yes. It just sort of. Yes, it will.
Okay. And will it partnership with your universal well-being?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a caller on hold if you want to take a caller in the middle of this, or if you want to keep going. with
One
this.
more question.
Okay.
What message does it have for you?
You are in the light, and you are loved very deeply, and all is well in your world.
Okay.
Nice. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Yeah,
So shall
well,
we take our call?
We can take a call.
Okay. Hello. Is someone there? Or did you hang up?
Hey, hi, this is Dawn.
Hey, Dawn. This is my friend Dawn. that
Okay.
I was talking to you about with the knee
Okay.
accident.
Yeah, me, Dawn.
Knee Dawn. This is.
How are you?
Ted.
So tell me. You told me that you were going to have a guest on that is versed in holodynamics. This is so exciting.
Yes, he just. I had you on hold because he just did a process with me of getting in touch with a. What did you call it?
Well, this was a holodyne that we were working with.
Holodyne?
We didn't actually get to a gatekeeper. Sometimes I go through the questions and I get
A gatekeeper.
I get a real gatekeeper that says, no, we're not going to go down for maybe partnership with you in social or one of the other areas.
I see.
And then I said, then it's a red flag. Where's the gatekeeper? So we didn't quite go down that path,
Okay.
but we did transform a holodyne so that that component is no longer part of her life.
Woohoo! We got a little mindful break for
Fascinating.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dawn has read a lot of this. She's the
Okay.
one that this is her book.
Okay, great.
So other questions, Dawn, that you have for Ted? He's now certified as a consultant.
Holodynamics consultant. yeah.
Obviously, you must find this work fascinating, or you would not have been mastered in it, Ted.
Oh, it's pivotal. This is just amazing. This is amazing science that can help just about anybody work through issues that have been there for a long time with them. Yeah.
Fascinating.
I'm unfortunately, I'm not in a position where I could watch the show. I would have loved to have seen the show. So hopefully at some point, you must be in the area. Where are you from?
I'm up in Tamworth, but that doesn't prevent me from helping you no matter where you are.
Tamworth. Okay. Yeah.
I do Skype sessions, and there's no need for you actually to physically come up to Tamworth. We can do it right over with the Skype. So, or in certain circumstances, if we're dealing with a family situation, an addiction, maybe I need to come to you. But but if we're dealing with most issues, we can do it right on the Skype. So,
Great.
yeah.
Very exciting. Well, I'll let you get back to Jane. I just wanted to say hello, and I'm sure at some point in time we will get to meet.
Okay. Super.
And I look forward to Jane filling me in on all the fun she had today.
Okay.
I shall do that, Dawn. Thanks so much for the call.
Well, I hope everybody who's listening is paying attention to this, because this is a great modality that should be certainly a lot further looked at.
Thank you.
Have fun, you guys.
Thank you for that, Dawn.
Thank you.
Take
Thank you,
care.
Don. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
No, it's just amazing the transformations that can take place, and some of them just within minutes you're going to see a shift. Like with you felt the shift.
I did.
Yeah.
Maybe there's no gatekeepers in that.
There's no gatekeepers there. That was the holodyne that we were working with.
That was the holodyne. So you're so versed in this, you know the difference between those things, because I wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah. No. Sometimes we get roadblocks, and
I see.
And these roadblocks, we just need to work a
So
little bit harder.
If I had said I can't or I'm not going to go any further, then that would have been a gatekeeper?
That would have been a gatekeeper that said,
Okay.
there's probably an event horizon, okay? So maybe in some cases it could be something like a church. The church has certain rules.
Uh-huh.
And we grow up in a family that is involved with this specific church, and so we have to live by these certain rules. So,
Right.
And sometimes these rules are no longer serve you a purpose.
Uh-huh.
But the rules are still there.
Right,
And
right.
we can't move an inch until we get beyond that.
I see.
So
That's probably a big one for a lot of people, because there's a lot of rules from churches of all types.
yeah, you
that
think
keep us
about
stuck
how
from
women have been
childhood.
suppressed over the years. I mean, from the church standpoint, they're part. They have been part of the problem there, and there may be part of the. There may be a gate that needs to be looked at in those situations.
Do you have an example of a gatekeeper, a gate thing in terms of a church scenario?
Well, I look at in my growth,
Okay.
the church. There definitely was a church-related block that I needed to get around that I couldn't.
Can you be any more specific? Or?
It's not coming to me right now, but I
Okay.
definitely had that when I was working on myself.
I see. Okay.
I
You
mean,
probably
this
do a
was
lot
months
of
ago.
working on yourself.
Oh yeah.
When you're practicing this work.
Yeah. So.
Because the clearer you are, the clearer you can work with your clients.
That's right. Yeah. We just have sometimes we just have limiting beliefs. I mean that
Sure.
we're taught in school. Oh, you can't do this. Okay?
You have to raise your hand before you speak.
Okay, these are some of the rules that we have. You have to raise your hand. So if nobody is looking for your hand to be raised, you're not going to do anything.
Right.
Because you learned that you're supposed to raise your hand. So okay, that's an event horizon that's sort of holding you in from maybe doing civic duty. Trying to be part of the community.
Right. Stand up, speak my truth, maybe in a town hall or something.
Yeah.
And if everyone's talking at the same time, or some type of a committee meeting, or some type of a place where people are putting their 2 cents worth in without raising their hand.
That's right.
And waiting. And then sometimes by the time, I've been in that situation actually, and by the time there's a space for me to speak, I forgot what I wanted to say because I had to listen to everybody else's stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Interesting.
So we do have some event horizons there that are preventing us from being our full potential selves.
Right.
So and the sky's the limit on what you can do.
The sky's the limit, people. All right. Well, we're getting close to coming down to the wire. Is there anything that you need to touch upon or would like? Well, first of all, I'd like to say you can get a hold of Ted VerPlanck at his he has Facebook, Winds of Change Reiki, on Facebook, but you probably want your website.
Your website is windsofchangereiki.com.
Right.
So, yeah.
Windsofchangereiki.com. If you want to hear more or know more about how Ted might be of a service to you and help any questions that weren't answered on the show, feel free to connect with Ted. And he's up in Tamworth, but he can work with you anywhere in the world because distant healing works, and you sound like you're very well versed in that. And I know Reiki teaches that to help you, teaches distant healing as a modality. And it's very, very successful and very gentle. And if you just watched the show, you saw me go through a little process, and that was great, Ted. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
I'm very grateful that you came to be with us on the show today.
Okay.
And so with that, if you have any questions, please, you can call me at any time, and I can get you in touch with Ted if you didn't get any of the information correct or any further questions. Get in touch with me. And so for now, we'll say have a great day, and remember, your heart knows the way.